Hello, this is Taylor Lindsay recording for Wilmington University, EDT 6020, and this is my online classroom. As we had started off earlier in the semester, we had the initial setup with a Getting to Know You page, the Getting Started and General Informations folder that contains all the things that we use to get started with, a welcome, syllabus, discussion, post guidelines, netiquette guidelines, and references. Moving on through there, the class resources that we can use, especially for my classroom at LCTI, would be the LCTI homepage, Skyward, which is where grades are formally recorded, Google Classroom, SHAG, which is an online page for historical resources, the Stanford Historical Educational Group, and then any sort of Schoology troubleshooting and introduction. Our introductions Prezi and discussions forums can also work together. So within our introductory activity, I like to have students use a Web 2.0 tool called Prezi, which is a more so interactive project and presentation system rather than just a PowerPoint assignment. It can be a little bit more fun for the students as well. The discussion forum that we have that is outlined for this course is set up here. This is the open discussion, not necessarily on the Great Depression, but this is if students were to have any questions or would be posted overall. For this section, I chose to do Unit 6 of American Studies 2, which is on the Great Depression, and everything here is posted in sequential order. The first thing that students are going to see is a pre-test on the Great Depression and New Deal that they are going to submit so I can track my pre-test and post-test assessments. The next thing we'll see is a goal setting. Attached is our unit description for the Great Depression and New Deal, and they can check that out and post what their goal is for the course. I have this outline of a PDF that you can see of each of the topics that we're going to have and what students are going to be learning about for this time. Okay. As we move through in sequential order, the first thing that students will be able to see are any sort of guided notes that we would have and any additional information based on the resources that we have. It is optional for students to look through some of these notes of the PowerPoints and having skeleton notes that are provided, but this is the first thing that can give kids a background sense of what is going on with the Great Depression that I have posted from our readings. These are to accompany the students. If they have any questions, they could always look through, especially when we talk about some of our Depression life, some of the programs, especially with any sort of New Deal programs that are within our discussion posts. There are skeleton notes that students can look through as well and contribute to on their own. They can do them in their own PowerPoint that is posted here, or they can print them out if they wanted to. These are the skeleton notes that were provided. The next activities that we're going to see are any of our online readings and activities that are posted. These are standard guiding questions and or documentary shorts that we can use. So one of which is America, the Story of Bust. You can watch a documentary here to give a visual aspect of it and then answer the questions as you are watching. The next activity that we'll see would be the Dust Bowl graphic organizer. Not only is there a PowerPoint that features an additional idea of images and talks about the lesson essential questions, but also it provides a short video because the Dust Bowl is a little bit more difficult if you've never heard of it to think about and students can watch. We move through talking about primary source images and examine the lifestyles of the Great Depression. Students are going to be going through, looking at them, seeing what it's like to live during the Great Depression. Talk about Social Security, how that comes through. And then lastly, debating whether or not the New Deal is an effective program, which will set up our discussion posts. With our discussion posts, students can also know that they are going to be working with a New Deal discussion, which is a New Deal program, all of which were discussed in the notes, in the readings, as well as the documentary. So they can choose one New Deal program, provide its goals, and comment whether or not they think it was a success. They will back it with evidence. And to make sure that there aren't too many repeats, students will be able to see the posts initially and then choose another program so we can get a whole overview of the Great Depression. Our online activity that is a big assignment for students is our Migrant Mother that we will be looking at, and students are able to open up the PowerPoint that has the Migrant Mother questions and all of the pictures that are off to the side. They go through and they can, I just have to minimize this for a sec, go to Screenshot Edit, choose an image that they are going to, and with that, the Migrant Mother pictures that they would choose from their PowerPoint, and they are responsible for looking through and doing an attached PowerPoint presentation and commenting and collaborating on the actual images and then sending them to me in this assignment. So that way they can use one of our Web 2.0 programs to comment directly on the pictures, talk about some of the strengths and or weaknesses that pictures have, considering what it's like to look in here. And students will comment on that, put the corroboration, and all the instructions are provided. Our group project is a tutorial that students will complete. That is another Web 2.0 assignment. I've done this a couple times, both in class and out of class. And here's a former student example project. But the New Deal that is here, they talk about the origins of it. They post their own pictures, videos. They have awesome practice programs. They give a brief introduction of the New Deal. They can talk about a specific program too, include their own videos and resources that have been found, and then they're responsible for having their forums. Each of the students are going to take their own spot of what they are going to do for each program as a group and submit one final tutorial. Our discussion post from earlier. And then lastly, our post test, where students will have a few short answer questions and some matching. So this is the online page that I created of my online classroom and blended learning activities. Thank you very much. And that is all.